10:30 on Friday, March the 20th, and this is our first virtual story time at Reed's Gumtree Bookstore. I'm Jack Reed Jr., aka Mr. Reed instead of Mr. Rogers, I guess, but we are going to have some fun reading some books to children. I love children. I was one. I've had some. I've got grandchildren, and I love reading. So let's just let's start up and let's have a good time. There are lots of things to do around the house, and to the extent that I can make this time a good 30 minutes for you, we sure want to be a part of it. And by the way, if you need some books from our bookstore, just email us at reedsms.com and we can deliver them to your home. We can take care of it. We love to stay in business on social media and over the web while our store is closed. All right, today we're going to start with Little Blue Trucks, and our theme today is going to be springtime books. Little Blue Truck and his good friend Toad are out for a drive. By the way, one of my nicknames when I was a little boy was Little Toad. Can you believe that? Not really a delightful nickname, but my father's nickname was Toad, so I was Little Toad. So this book is particularly interesting to me since friend Toad is a part of it. But they're out for a drive on a beautiful spring day, and who will they see along the way? Let's open the flaps to meet all the sweet baby animals just born on the farm. Little Blue Truck's Springtime, written by Alice Schertle and illustrated by Jill McElwary. Little Blue Truck is on the road taking a drive with good friend Toad. It's a yoo-hoo sky blue spring-sing day. Who do they see along the way? And there they are in their blue truck, taking a look at the spring day, kind of like a spring day in Tupelo. You've seen the cherry trees and the red buds and the white buds all out, and the daffodils. You see the daffodils down here. What a glorious comment that Mother Nature in spring will go on, and just like spring is a season of hope, certainly this is a season of hope for all of us. Yoo-hoo sheep, beep beep, what's new? And when we open the flap, a little white lamb and a twin lamb too. That's what new. That's what's new. Who's out swimming in a line? Yoo-hoo, duck and ducklings, 9. 9 little ducklings. If some of you have at least 9 people in your house under this quarantine, congratulations and good luck. Yoo-hoo goat, what do you say? Can the kids come out to play? Yoo-hoo cow, just munching corn. Yoo-hoo little calf, just born. Little calf being just born is another example of new life in the springtime. See the cows and the toads on the truck and the cow and the little new calf just born. Have any of y'all ever been to a farm? Farms are pretty cool. Mama Pig, who's in your pen? Yoo-hoo piglets, 1 to 10. They've got even one more piglet than the mother duck had ducklings. 10 little piglets. Ears in clover, that looks funny. Hippity hop, yoo-hoo bunny. And who's under the bunny flap? Bunny sister, bunny brother, and another, and another. Springtime must be when animals have their babies. What do you think? We've got new ducklings and new piglets, and now we've got new rabbits. All in the spring, in the flowers. What's this nestled in the grass? Check it out before you pass. Tap, tap. Anybody home? Who's inside the smooth, round dome? And the answer is, who do you think? Crickety clack, everybody shout, yoo-hoo chick, come on out. And coming on out. Yoo-hoo sun, yoo-hoo sky, yoo-hoo white clouds sailing by, birds that sing, frogs that leap, yoo-hoo spring, beep, beep, beep. And look at who all the blue truck has picked up along the way. All the Toad's friends and more flowers, and just a wonderful visit around the farm. There are the ducklings and the piglets. There's the baby cow, the chicks, the sheep. A happy day on the farm. The little blue truck has had springtime in the farm. All right, I enjoyed that. I hope you did. Let's see what else we've got in the bookshelf down at the Gumtree Bookstore. Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel. Story and pictures by Virginia Lee Burton. Any of y'all ever read about Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel? This book has delighted generations of children. Mike and his trusty steam shovel, Mary Ann, work hard digging out canals, new roads, and deep basements for skyscrapers. But with progress comes new machines, and soon the inseparable duo are out of work. The two have one last chance to save Mary Ann from the scrap heap. Oop, this is going to be exciting. What happens next in the small town of Pepperville is a testament to their friendship and to old-fashioned hard work and ingenuity. Ben, if you get a chance, text Lisa and see if she's doing this, so she can give us tell us if there's some things we could do better or things we're doing right. Yeah. Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel. Bet there are little boys, a lot of little boys out there that like to play on shovels. And this is dedicated to Mike. Makes sense? I think I may read like this. I think this might be better. Mike Mulligan had a steam shovel, a beautiful red steam shovel. Her name was Mary Ann. Mike Mulligan was very proud of Mary Ann. He always said that she could dig as much in a day as 100 men could dig in a week, but he had never been quite sure that this was true. Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann had been digging together for years and years. Mike Mulligan took such good care of Mary Ann, she never grew old. Wouldn't that be nice? It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who dug the great canals for the big boats to sail through. See, a canal is water that goes through land on both sides. See, the Great Canal going to the Great Lakes up in the northern United States. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who cut through the high mountains so the trains could go through. Ever been on a train in the mountains? That beautiful scene. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who lowered the hills and straightened the curves to make long highways with automobiles. I know we've all driven on these long highways that shovels have helped build. It was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who smoothed out the ground and filled in the holes to make the landing fields for the airplane. There's a phone ringing, maybe somebody's ordering a book. And it was Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann and some others who dug deep holes for the cellars for the tall skyscrapers in the big cities. When people used to stop and watch them, Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann used to dig a little faster and a little faster and a little better. The more people stopped, the faster and better they dug. Some days they would keep as many as 37 trucks busy taking away the dirt they had dug. Then along came the new gasoline shovels and the new electric shovels and the new diesel motor shovels, and took all the jobs away from the steam shovels. Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann were very sad. No steam shovels wanted. That can be hard when you're out of work. All the other steam shovels were being sold for junk, or left out in the old gravel pits to rust and fall apart. Mike loved Mary Ann. He couldn't do that to her. He had taken such good care of her, and she could still dig as much in a day as 100 men could dig in a week. At least he thought she could, but he wasn't quite sure. Everywhere they went, the new gas shovels and the new electric shovels and the new diesel motor shovels had all the jobs. No one wanted Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann anymore. Then one day Mike read in a newspaper that the town of Pupperville was going to build a new town hall. "We're going to dig the cellar of that town hall," said Mike to Mary Ann, and off they started. They left the canals and the railroads and the highways and the airports and the big cities where no one wanted them anymore and went away out in the country. They crawled along slowly up the hills and down the hills till they came to the little town of Popperville. They'd been the size of Tupelo. When they got there, they found that the selectmen were just deciding who should dig the cellar for the new town hall. Mike Mulligan spoke to Henry B. Swap, one of the selectmen. "I heard," he said, "that you're going to build a new town hall. Mary Ann and I will dig the cellar for you in just one day." "What?" said Henry B. Swap. "Dig a cellar in a day? It would take 100 men at least a week to dig the cellar for our new town hall." "Sure," said Mike, "but Mary Ann can dig as much in a day as 100 men can dig in a week." Though he had never been quite sure that this was true. Then he added, "If we can't do it, you won't have to pay." Henry B. Swap thought that this would be an easy way to get part of the cellar dug for nothing. So he smiled in a rather mean way and gave the job of digging the cellar of the new town hall to Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. He didn't think he could do it, did he? They started in early the next morning, see the sun just coming up. They started in early the next morning, just as the sun was coming up. Soon a little boy came along. "You think you'll finish by sundown?" he said to Mike Mulligan. "Sure," said Mike. "If you stay and watch us, we always work faster and better when someone is watching us." So the little boy stayed to watch. That was good. Then Mrs. McGillicuddy, Henry B. Swap, and the town constable came over to see what was happening. And they stayed to watch. Here they come. Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dug a little faster and a little better. Here you can see the hole starting to get a little deeper. This gave the little boy a good idea. He ran off and told the postman with the morning mail, the telegraph boy on his bicycle, the milkman with his cart and horse, the doctor on his way home, and the farmer and his family coming into town for the day, and they all stopped and stayed to watch. That made Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dig a little faster and a little better. They finished the first corner neat and square, but the sun was getting higher. Remember, they have to do it by the end of the day. Clang, 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 the fire department arrived. They had seen the smoke and thought there was a fire. Then the little boy said, "Why don't you stay and watch?" So the fire department of Popperville stayed to watch Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. When they heard the fire engine, the children in school across the street couldn't keep their eyes on their lessons. The teacher called a long recess, and the whole school came out to watch. That made Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dig still faster and still better. Whoa, look at this. They've got to build a square, and now they've got almost two sides of it. They finished the second corner neat and square, but the sun was right up at the top of the sky. Uh-oh, you know what that means? Noontime. They've got half the day left, and they finished half the square. Wow, look at all these people coming. This is pretty exciting. Do you think they're going to make it? I don't know. Let's hope so. Now the girl who answers the telephone called up the next towns of Bangerville and Bopperville and Kipperville and Copperville and told them what was happening in Popperville. I guess all the towns around there kind of rhymed. All the people came over to see if Mike Mulligan and his steam shovel could dig the cellar in just one day. The more people came, the faster Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann dug. But they would have to hurry. They were only halfway through and the sun was beginning to go down. They finished the third corner, neat and square. All right, how many corners are there? 4, that's right. They've done 3. Never had Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann had so many people to watch them. Never had they dug so fast and so well, and never had the sun seemed to go down so fast. "Hurry, Mike Mulligan, hurry, hurry," shouted the little boy. "There's not much more time." Dirt was flying everywhere, and smoke and steam were so thick that people could hardly see anything. But listen. Bing, bang, crash, slam, louder and louder, faster and faster. Then suddenly it was quiet. Slowly the dirt settled down. The smoke and steam cleared away. And there was the cellar, all finished. 4 corners, neat and square. 4 walls, straight down. And Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann at the bottom, and the sun was just going down behind the hill. "Hooray!" shouted the people. "Hooray for Mike Mulligan and the steam shovel." They have dug the cellar in just one day. How happy all the people are. It's wonderful. Suddenly the little boy said, "Hey, are they going to get out? How are they going to get out?" "That's right," said Ms. McGillicuddy to Henry B. Swap. "How is he going to get his steam shovel out?" Henry B. Swap didn't answer, but he smiled in a rather mean way. "You get tired of mean people?" "Can't stand mean people. I'm glad none of you are mean." Then everybody said, "How are they going to get out? I'm Mike Mulligan. How are you going to get your steam shovel out?" Whew. Mike Mulligan looked around at the 4 square walls and the 4 square corners, and he said, "We've dug so fast and we've dug so well that we've quite forgotten to leave a way out." Nothing like this had ever happened to Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann before, and they didn't know what to do. That's the one fun thing about reading. You can keep reading and find out what happened. Nothing like this had ever happened before in Poplarville. Everybody started talking at once. And everybody had a different idea, and everybody thought his idea was the best. That happens a lot. They talked and they talked and they argued and they fought till they were worn out. And still no one knew how to get Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann out of the cellar they had dug. Then Henry B. Swap said, "The job isn't finished because Mary Ann isn't out of the cellar, so Mike Mulligan won't get paid." And he smiled again in a very mean way. I don't know who elected that select man, but I hope next time he comes up for election, he will get beat by somebody. That's how you get rid of elected officials you don't want. You don't re-elect them. Now the little boy who had been keeping very quiet had another good idea. He said, "Why couldn't we leave Mary Ann in the cellar and build a new town hall above her? Let her be the furnace for the new town hall, and let Mike Mulligan be the janitor. Then you wouldn't have to buy a new furnace, and we could pay Mike Mulligan for digging the cellar in just one day." He was a very smart little boy. Very creative. "Why not?" said Henry B. Swap, and smiled in a way that was not so mean. "Why not?" said Ms. McGillicuddy. "Why not?" said the town constable. "Why not?" said all the people. So they found a ladder and climbed down into the cellar to ask Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. "Why not?" said Mike Mulligan. So it was decided, and everybody was happy. Isn't that wonderful? They built the new town hall right over Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann. It was finished before winter. Every day the little boy goes over to see Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, and Ms. McGillicuddy takes him nice hot apple pies. As for Henry B. Swap, he spends most of his time in the cellar of the new town hall listening to the stories that Mike Mulligan has to tell and smiling in a way that isn't mean at all. Isn't that nice? Even Henry B. Swap turned around. Maybe he will get rid of it. Now, when you go to Poplarville, be sure to go down in the cellar of the new town hall. There they'll be Mike Mulligan and Mary Ann, Mike in his rocking chair, and Mary Ann beside him, warming up the meetings in the new town hall. Wow, that's a great book. I've never read that book before, and I'm glad I've read it today, and I hope you liked it. I'm going to pass this one on to my grandchildren, too. I think that's a keeper. It's a good story. It shows somebody that was out of work, found new work, and they found a creative way to use him, and everybody was happy in the end. Great story. Springtime. That's what Hope is all about. Springtime and Mike Mulligan and the steam shovel.
All right, we've got 2 more for you to read.
We've got 2 more books. War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy.
That won't take long.
I will start this today, and we will read every day for the next year, and we will finish it. No, I think maybe I'll read this at home and give you a book review of it. Actually, I have read this book. I hope some of you will. It's one of the great books of all time. It's 1,268 pages by Leo Tolstoy. War and Peace. War and Peace. Human relationships at the height of their dramatic opportunities for. It's a great book, War and Peace. Actually, I was an English major, and I recommend this book when you get old enough for it. But instead, they've given me one a little shorter called Wherever You Are, My Love Will Find You. Well, that's a sweet book. I may tear up reading this book. These sweet books are really, they really get you. But I hope we've got a whole series of these books. The first one I think was called On the Night You Were Born, which is a great book for any age group to have. You don't have that in your library, and this is from that same author, Nancy Tillman, and they're beautiful illustrations in this book. That I mean, that's just beautiful as a painting, even if it wasn't a book. You think how much fun that would be dancing with a bear. It was a very gentle bear. I think how much fun the bear would have dancing with a real person. Have you ever thought of yourself as a bear? Yeah, that wouldn't be so bad. Maybe, unless there were bear hunters out there. All right. Wherever you are, my love will find you. Not to get too theological about that, but that's why we think about that God is everywhere, just like He's right here with me right now, and He's wherever you are. I wanted you more than you will ever know, so I said, love to follow you wherever you will go. And there He's writing, or he or she, you really can't tell if that's a boy or girl, can you? That's probably on purpose. Or riding hippopotami, that's plural for hippopotamus, or riding hippopotami, and my guess is that's on the plains of Africa. It's high as you wish it, it's quick as an elf, you'll never outgrow it, it stretches itself. And there's the child on a high diving board with an inner tube, looking at jumping into a big pool, and there's a seal at the bottom on a ball that's floating. Look at those clouds in the sky. When you get older, you can go on diving boards, and those are pretty exciting too. So climb any mountain, climb up to the sky. My love will find you. My love can fly. Isn't that a happy thought? Your love can fly. Wow. And look, he's on top of a big hay bale. That could be somewhere around here. We've got big hay bales here, or maybe even in Iowa or Nebraska in the Midwest where they have so much hay. You can see the stars up there, kind of representing the love that's up there flying around. Ooh, look at this. Make a big splash. Go out on a limb. My love will find you. My love can swim. And now he's swimming with elephants. That would be cool. And then they'll spread. Look, they're having fun. They're kind of having a water gun fight with their snouts. And he's kicking water back at them, and then they're spraying it. Now that would be fun. Have you ever been in a water gun fight with an elephant? If you have, call me. I'd like you to tell me about it. It never gets lost, never fades, never ends. Now he's jumping on a trampoline with a kangaroo. I bet if anybody could jump high on a trampoline, it's a kangaroo, don't you? If you're working, and there the little boy or the little girl is climbing up a giraffe to pick an apple from an apple tree. Again, wouldn't that be cool? Look at this giraffe. What if you could climb right up here? Hello. We giving our giraffe a name in the bookstore? Why don't you send us your ideas of this giraffe's name? Do we have the giraffe have a name?
No.
All right. That's going to be our next contest. Send us in your ideas of what we should name our giraffe here at the bookstore. This little child is climbing a giraffe's neck to get some apples. Or playing. Your love can find you if you're playing. And look, he's playing now in the snow. With some little snow rabbits, or she is. And those look like aspen trees, so that's probably out in Colorado somewhere. Any of you have ever been out in Colorado and seen the aspen trees? They're beautiful. Doesn't feel like much snow in Tupelo these days. Or sitting with friends. And there's the little boy or the little girl sitting with some pandas or looking out on a bench. A lot of houses in Tupelo now have chairs, lawn chairs out, kind of as an indication of welcoming you to their home or their yard. And one thing we can do, if we're really careful about it, is you can stay in your yard and talk to the person across the street in their yard and still have some sense of neighborhood without getting too close to each other, because we need to be careful about that for sure. You can dance till you're dizzy, and that's the same painting that was on the front of the book. Dancing with a bear under the moonlight, or as the moon's coming up and still in the afternoon maybe. And I think these stars are representing love. That's just an illustration of that love is all around us. Paint till you're blue. Wow. I bet some of you are doing some painting at home. My granddaughter loved to paint. She sent me a picture of some painting she was doing at home. There's no place, not one, that my love can't find you. Those peacocks. I remember as a little boy going to the Memphis Zoo and seeing a peacock for the first time. I thought it was the most amazing bird, animal I'd ever seen. And I still remember that, how beautiful those peacocks were at the Memphis Zoo. And if someday you're lonely, or someday you're sad, or you strike out at baseball, or think you've been bad, just lift up your face, feel the wind in your hair. That's me, my sweet baby, my love is right there. So even in sad times or lonely times, love is there. And that's comforting and that's true. And the green of the grass and the smell of the sea and the clouds floating by at the top of a tree and the sound crickets make at the end of the day, you are loved, you are loved, you are loved, they all say. Well, they're certain about that, and so am I. We've got a lot of swing sets. Maybe you've got a swing set, or you've certainly been on one at school or at a park. And, one day we'll be all back at Ballard Park swinging again. It won't be too long. We just have to get through this. My love is so high and so wide and so deep, it's always right there, even when you're asleep. Oh, and look, there she is, or there he is, sleeping on a sheep. You know, that would be really easy to count sheep to go to sleep if they were actually in front of them. I hadn't thought about that. That's a very comforting thought. We all need a good night's sleep. So hold your head high and don't be afraid to march to the front of your own parade. If you're still my small babe, or you're all the way grown, my promise to you is you are never alone. And that's a pretty happy thought to dance with, and there you can tell the child is just spinning and dancing around with the flamingos because they know that they are loved. You are my angel, my darling, my star. My love will find you wherever you are. Whoa, and look at that. Oh, swing over a river. See the canoe down there? There's a little crow flying in the sky. And there are the stars, which represent the love. And wherever you are, the love will find you. You are loved. Wow. Wherever you are. By Nancy Tillman. Nancy Tillman must be a really sweet person. All right, that is 30 minutes. That is our story time for today, Friday, March 20th. And we'll announce again when we'll have some more story time. Maybe we'll have more than just on Fridays during this time where the store is closed. And we'll have some other readers. I'm sure there's some that'll be even more exciting than I have been. But I've enjoyed it, and I hope you have a really sweet and good day. And remember, you are loved.